Welcome to Feral Folktales with me, Papa G. If you're new here, we do a full 30-minute podcast episode every other week, and the off weeks are a simple folktale. Jack lived with his mama in a little house where a single cow meant the difference between eating and not eating. When that cow stopped giving milk, his mama did not have the luxury of hoping it would turn around. She told Jack to take it down the road and trade it for something they could use. Jack set out early, leading the cow by a rope. He did not get that far before he met a stranger who acted like he had been waiting on him. The man looked the cow over and said he would trade Jack a handful of beans for it. He also said they were not ordinary beans, and that Jack ought to plant them. Jack knew beans were cheap and the cow was not. He also knew his mama was going to be furious. He took the beans anyway and turned back for home. When his mama saw Jack come in without the cow, she demanded to know what he had done. Jack showed her the beans and repeated what the stranger said. His mama did not stop to argue about it. She threw the beans out into the yard and told Jack he had been fooled. That night they went to bed hungry. By morning, something had grown up out of the yard that did not belong there. A green vine stood as thick as a small tree, and it ran straight up past the roof and kept going. The leaves were broad and heavy. The stalk twisted and held firm like it had been there a long time, not just one night. Jack's mama stared at it and told him to stay on the ground. She told him that nothing good came from strange growth in the yard. Jack did what Jack does. He put his hands on the vine, tested it with his foot, and started climbing. He climbed until the yard dropped away under him and the air turned cooler. He climbed until he could not hear anything from below. When he finally pulled himself over the top, he found a flat stretch of land and a road laid across it like somebody had built a place above the clouds. At the end of that road sat a house. It was too big to be a normal house. The door looked like it had been made for somebody who did not have to duck to get through. Jack walked up carefully and knocked. A big woman opened the door. She looked him over and asked what he wanted. Jack told her he was hungry and asked for something to eat. The woman told him he should not be standing there because her husband would be home soon, and her husband did not treat visitors kindly. Jack did not have time to decide what was wise. The woman pushed him into a hiding place and told him to stay quiet. Not long after that, the house shook with heavy steps. A giant came in. The floorboards complained under his weight. He sat down and said he smelled somebody he did not know. He kept looking around the room like a dog that had caught a scent. The woman kept him busy with food and acted like she had no idea what he meant. The giant ate, complained, and still kept sniffing the air. When he finished, he told the woman to bring out his money. She dragged a sack to the table that clinked when it hit the wood. The giant emptied it and began counting coins that looked too large to be real. Jack watched from his hiding place and kept his breathing small. After a while, the giant grew sleepy from eating. His head dipped, his eyes closed. His breathing turned slow and heavy. Jack waited until the giant was fully out. Then he slipped from his hiding place, grabbed the sack, and moved for the door. The coins made noise no matter how careful he tried to be, and the giant's eyes opened. Jack ran. He ran out of the house, down the road, and straight for the vine. He grabbed it and started down fast, the sack banging against his leg. Above him, the giant came after him, and the vine shook under that weight. Leaves tore loose and spun down. Jack's hands burned from sliding and gripping, but he did not stop. He dropped into his yard hard enough to stumble. His mama ran out, saw the sack, saw the vine moving, and understood plenty without needing it explained to her. Jack told her to get the axe. She brought it quickly. Jack and his mama swung into the vine again and again until the stalk split and leaned. The giant was still coming down. When the vine finally gave way, the giant went with it. The fall ended with a crash that shook the ground and then left the yard quiet. Jack and his mama stood there for a moment, breathing hard, looking at the cut stump. Then they dragged the sack of money inside. They paid what they owed, they ate meals, they stopped counting every bite like it might be the last one. Jack's mama did not let him plant anything else in the yard after that, and Jack did not argue too hard, because he had seen what one handful of beans could bring down from the sky. This is one of the Jack tales that shows up in Appalachian telling, where Jack is not a prince or a chosen child. He is just a poor boy who keeps ending up in trouble and then scrambling out of it with nerve and timing. In some mountain versions, Jack goes up more than once and brings back more than one thing. The shape of the story stays the same, though. A hard home life pushes him towards a risky choice, and something too big and dangerous sits at the top of the vine. I'm Papa G, and this is Feral Folktales. Until next time.